What rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. So wrote W.B. Yeats, the 1923 winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, in perhaps his most famous poem, The Second Coming. And Yeats was one of the 120 winners of the Nobel Prize for Literature since 1921. And in this video, I'm going to give you my quick cultural tour of the winners of the Nobel Prize for Literature between 1922 and 1928. I'm Jeff Rich. Welcome to the Burning Archive. All my details are in the video description below, so do check it out at your leisure. I'm going to read them, but you can read even just little bits too by following along with these videos and subscribing to my Substack at jeffrich.substack.com. You'll get a free weekly email every week with some links and resources to all 120 winners of the Nobel Prize for Literature. So this week I'm looking at the winners from 1922 to 1928. We're doing 7 winners in each week, one for each day of the week. All these winners are from Europe, and Europe has Yeats' poem about rough beasts slouching towards Bethlehem to be born evoked. European society in the 1920s was in turmoil. Empires had collapsed, socialism had challenged the bourgeois and embraced the peasants of Eastern Europe, and declining aristocrats mocked the rising commercialism that perhaps was embodied by England and its financial empire. Communists clash with religious thinkers in Russia, in Spain, and all across Europe. And a storm of resentful racism was brewing. And in these years between 1922 and 1928, the 7 Nobel laureates dramatized those tensions in their work and in their lives. In 1924, Władysław Reymont from Poland, although until 1919 it was part of Russia, Władysław Reymont won the Nobel Prize. And he was a Polish novelist, largely self-educated. He had been sent by his family to learn a trade. And his family came from sort of impoverished Polish nobility. But he rebelled against the trade and became a writer, very much in the sort of realist tradition of Maxim Gorky, writing stories of the people and of Polish peasant life. His major works are a book called The Promised Land, or a series of books called The Promised Land, and The Peasants. The Promised Land presented life as a struggle for survival in the city of Lodz during the Industrial Revolution, with 3 main characters, a German, a Jew, and a Pole, reflecting the demography of Poland before the before the Holocaust. Struggled to maintain noble ideas and holy feelings against the modern challenges of industrialization and urbanization. The Peasants portrayed country life in Poland, and similarly, like Gorky, like some of the Russian realist novels of that time, presented the material culture, the customs, behaviour and spiritual culture of the people using local dialects. This book has been adapted for film a number of times and has enjoyed a bit of a cultural revival in Poland in recent years. But I think Reymont's most intriguing connection to cultural history may be his last book, Bunt, in Polish, translated as Revolt, sometimes as Revolt of the Animals, from 1924. This novel described a revolt by animals which take over their farm and introduce equality. It was a parody of the Russian Revolution, Unlike Reymont's social realist novels, this book was actually banned in communist Poland. Reymont was actually quite celebrated in in communist Poland for his realist novels, but this book was banned until 1989. And of course, its resemblance to George Orwell's Animal Farm is pretty obvious. Indeed, there are even hints that Orwell may well have known of the book. So Reymont may even be the first Nobel laureate to be a victim of literary plagiarism. Maybe. Not accusing the George Orwell estate of anything. And I hope you've enjoyed this cultural tour of the 7 Nobel Literature Laureates from 1922 to 1928.